Well, hello there, and thank you so much for joining me. This is episode number 2 of the Monetize Your Midlife Brilliance show. So, we're going to talk today. I'm going to show you a very simplified model for online business model. And you can, there are other ways than just this one that I'm going to show you, but this is the basic. This is for you if you're wondering, you're not really entirely clear how people actually make money online. This will help you visualize that literally. I wanted to share this with you because it's what I wish that I had seen about 4 years ago when I started this journey of online marketing and creating a location independent business. I did it the wrong way, and this is what I don't want you to do. Okay. I decided that I was going to create a course. I was passionate about a certain subject, and I was going to create a course, and I was going to sell that course, and that course would be the cash cow for my other project that I really wanted to be working on, but I didn't think I'd be able to make money at that one very soon. So that's what I did. I went off and I took a course on how to create a course, and I spent money on marketing on Facebook, trying to drive traffic to it during the launch, and it completely failed, and I wasted a lot of money and a lot of time. I don't want to say I wasted time because I did learn quite a bit, but here's what I did wrong. I didn't understand the business model online. Okay. I had no email list, almost none of people that might have been interested in a course like that. I hadn't been serving that audience for very long. I didn't have a professional network around this idea. I just really was interested, but I didn't have an infrastructure to actually sell, a solution to a problem because I hadn't spent much time with people who actually had that problem. I had a beta class, but at any rate, I didn't have the time. I ran out of time, and I thought I could buy the audience by ads to be able to, market the course, but it didn't work out that way. So that's what I want you to avoid. And so without further ado, let's go and look at what the business model does look like. And this is what I wish I had seen when I was considering moving a lot of my activities online. Okay. All righty. We are basic online revenue model. This is the same whether you're going to start an online business in this way, or if you're just considering a side hustle, or another income stream into your overall life revenue, right? I'm Kayla Philo. I'm the CEO of mirroryourbrillianceonvideo.com. I'm a video strategist, but you guys probably know all that already. Okay. So I don't know if you watched show number 1, but in show number 1, we talked about how attention is the currency online. And in this simplified flow that illustrates the client journey, you can see that they move through different touch points with you. So over there on the left is the big kind of audience that's out there. And I want to encourage you, this is often referred to as a funnel, and that's fine. But I want to encourage you to start thinking of it more like your client journey or your customer journey, because online marketing is very psychological. And the more you think about those people as being individuals with, all of the variations and things that make us individuals, the more your content's going to connect with them. All right. So I like to think of it as a client journey, but whatever you want to call it, it's the same. So it goes audience over on the left, and you're creating content that adds value, and a content is simply a post, a blog post, a Facebook post, a video, of course, any kind of information that you're putting out there that helps your potential client solve a problem that you can help them with. That's called content. It entertains, it educates. Usually it can also be content that evokes an emotional response. I'm going to do a whole couple episodes probably on content because I love it. But every time that someone interacts with a piece of your content, it's called a conversion. So when they take action to go from one, like they're looking at a Facebook post and they hit like, that's a conversion. Or they see a Facebook post or something on Instagram says, sign up for our top 10 tips to solve problem XYZ. And you do that, and they do that, that's a conversion. So those are And it might be a click or signing up for the email list or watching a video, attending a webinar, joining a Facebook group. And then, yes, finally, over here, buying something. That's the ultimate conversion, right? Um, it is very low cost to start this process, to start an online venture. And that's why we see millions of people starting and running online businesses and trying to right now. And that's only going to get more so as we've seen, unfortunately, lots of people be laid off. So the online space is about to get even busier than it's been before. Good reason to not wait if you are considering this sort of activity. So yes, it's inexpensive to start. So what is the catch? Well, these are the things that I didn't know when I started that I'm happy to share with you now. So content creation isn't free. It does cost you time at the very minimum. And if you are not a graphic artist, or you don't have any graphic art skills, or you're not a writer, or you may end up needing to contract with somebody to do those things. My program teaches anybody how to do video inexpensively on their own, but at the same time, it will take some of your time, right? Then there's a tech infrastructure, which is, there's a website host. There are different companies that have the tech tools that you're going to need for email list and distribution. So you don't have to know all those things right now, but just know that it is out there. And then also your time or staff time for distributing content. Content distribution is a real bugaboo, and it does take time because every platform has its own special little quirks. So that is another thing that you factor in if you get into doing this, at the level where you're really trying to build audience through your content. Speaking of which, getting content in front of the right people for free, it does take time and it isn't easy. So for example, on Facebook and Instagram, both of those don't really share much of your content for free, especially Facebook as a business, your Facebook business page. Only your followers will only see about 2 to 6% of what you post, and unless you boost it, unless you pay Facebook. It's very hard to build a business page when only 2 to 6% of your existing followers are even seeing it. So it's kind of a vicious cycle, and Facebook is definitely pay to play if you're really going to try to build audience on Facebook. The exception to that is Facebook groups, but that's the subject for a different call. So we'll do that later, or a different episode. So just knowing that, and then video does help because Facebook will give you a little bit more reach for video, because they know people like video and they spend time with video, and that helps Facebook. So you do get a little bit more extra reach with video. On YouTube and Google. Now, Google is a search engine, which means people come to Google usually looking for information. YouTube is similar. People come to YouTube looking for information or entertainment. So it's called intent. They have more of a purpose for being there. Whereas on Facebook, pretty often we're just there to check in on what our friends are doing and our own profile. So the only thing about YouTube is YouTube doesn't really distribute your videos unless you follow a very strict protocol that makes their algorithm happy. Algorithm is the way that the computer magic behind the scenes determines what videos get seen and shown to different audiences. So long way of saying it's very hard to get your content in front of the right people for free. But again, video, of all the types of media, video is the kind that will get you the most reach for no money. And then the last part is the conversion rates are very low from one stage of the funnel to the next. So let's go back and look at what that looks like really quickly. So if we're thinking that we're trying to funnel our ideal clients through our content, through our customer journey, through our interactions with them, down to the place that they are going to pay us money, the proportions of this, I should probably redo it, because it's actually, you start out big and it gets much tinier, much smaller than this would lead you to believe. So for example, if you were having a webinar, now you probably know what a webinar is, but it's something you sign up for. You spend about an hour with someone, the teacher or the host of the webinar. Usually they teach you something, and then if it's related to what they do for work or professionally, often they will share with you at the end how you can go more deeply with them via purchasing their course or perhaps joining a group program, something like that. So in the webinar scenario, there would be, and I'll show you some numbers behind this in a second, but the webinar, it would be perhaps Facebook ads here, advertising the webinar. People click through the ad to the page to sign up for the webinar. They sign up for the webinar, and then a certain percentage of them do. And then of that percentage that sign up for the webinar, a smaller percentage actually attend. And then of that percentage that actually attend, a smaller percentage actually finish watching it. And of that percentage, a very small percent, 1 to 3%, will actually purchase. Now that's an average of webinar performance, but it's based on industry data. And I've got a link for that in a little bit. Okay, so let's go look at, those are industry estimates. So here we have it, conversion rates. Now that you've seen the visual in your mind, you can think about the webinar again. So remember, we were driving traffic to the ad, and of all that traffic that is being driven to the ad, 10 to 25% will actually sign up for the webinar, okay? And of that percentage, 40 to 50% will actually attend. And of that percentage, 85% will probably stay, other will leave. And finally, at the very end, 1 to 3% of those that stayed will actually buy. So you can see that the funnel narrows pretty quickly down to a tiny opening at the bottom where they actually buy. Regarding email list, we talked about email list a little bit in episode 1, and we'll get into this more later as well. But I was on a call the other day, and the lady was talking about, if you partner with people that have big email lists, then you get your name in front of thousands of people. Well, you do get your name in front of more people than you would otherwise, so that is for sure. But if somebody has 5,000 people on their email list, it doesn't mean that your content, if they send out an email that mentions you, it doesn't mean that 5,000 new people are going to see you. Only about 20% or less of 5,000 people are going to see you, because it depends on their open rate for their email list. So 20% is considered good. And then of that 20%, only about 1 to 5% of an email list will actually convert to buying something from the host of the list. And it depends on, of course, it depends on how often you pitch them and your relationship with them and how engaged they are with you. So this is why a large engaged email list is a really valuable asset. Often the bigger email lists, the open rates are lower because the people are not as engaged, because it's a larger group. But if you have a large group that's highly engaged, that is the golden ticket in general on the internet. And that is where the internet multimillionaires come from, a lot of them. Okay. So to sum all that up, you need hundreds of thousands of people at the top end to get to just a small number here at the bottom end to make, so it's generalized. It depends, of course, again, on what you're trying to do and who you are and how big who knows you and how big your email list is and how long you've been at it. But in general, you need thousands of names seeing the information, first of all, that you're even having a webinar, to drill down or to sign up, and then you start to drill down into who actually attends the webinar, and from that, only about 1 to 3% buy. Okay, so this isn't meant to discourage you, because obviously it does work. I mean, there are thousands of webinars out there, and there's a reason for it, and we'll get into that later on. But I just wanted to open your eyes to the fact that it's not just a quick fix. This is, in general, a long build, and there are things you have some advantages. I'll talk about those right now. And then also you can hurry up some of the process by promotions and paid advertising, basically. So the advantages that midlife professionals, that might increase your conversion rates, which I did not have around my idea back in the day. So an existing network, if you are attempting to create a program or an offering that is based on what you've been doing for a while and you enjoy doing it and you're good at it, then your ability to build out a list of people who know you is right there. That's like a head start. And then you can use testimonials from them to attract new members. So testimonials are golden. And then also any kind of media mentions that you've had in the past or affiliations, professional affiliations, you want to start to keep track of those if you haven't been already. So, and the last thing, of course, because I want to throw in there on the video, when you add video to your content, it statistically improves conversions and attention span. And I put here online launch, but it's more than just a launch of a product. In general, your online marketing, you have a higher return on investment because people do spend more time with video, and there is no replacement for them seeing the light in your eyes when you're talking on a video. There's no replacement for that in terms of building know, like, and trust. And what do we have to build before people will pay us money? Know, like, and trust. So the faster you can build that, the faster you can get to the point where you can offer to serve them at a higher level for an investment, for them investing in your products or service. I mean, your services. Okay. Here is a link to some stats about webinars if you're interested. And so the last part is, I told you, let me just stop sharing here. So if you have any questions about any of that, let me know. And I wanted to say that, so I'm trying to leave you every time with a quick thing that you can start to do. So if you didn't start your monetize your midlife brilliance notebook yet, or, I told you could also just use sound, audio notes for yourself if you're not a writer. But so start to think about who you could talk to that you have done really good work for, and see if you could start to gather testimonials around that. Then also start thinking about writing down for yourself stories of transformations. So maybe when you were working with someone and they came to you with problem X, Y, and Z, and you had an aha moment, or they did, and then you just saw this really cool thing happen in your work with them. Start to write those down, because that's going to be really golden and powerful content going forward. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, and I will see you in episode 3. Bye-bye.